Well, hello, Primary Sevens. Fair Isle. It's lovely that you can have this contact and that you can go through a little bit of what others before you have gone through. You see, Ken Frood here, I'm the Minister of St Brice Kirk, I'm Fair Isle School Chaplain. You will remember that, I'm sure. And I'm standing here in St Brice Kirk thinking about what I would normally do in your classroom just a few weeks before you move to secondary school. Well, moving on to secondary school is a big step, and it's worth considering a little bit about what's involved. Well, you've changed a lot already, and I want you to think about how you have changed. Primary one, when you were 5 years old, to today, when you're, quite grown up. Well, you would have changed in many significant ways, and just have a look. You might have your own list of things, and I would like you to make that list now. You can scribble something down, you could stop this perhaps, or just have a quick think about how you've changed. There are some obvious differences. The obvious difference being, well, you've physically changed, you're much bigger, you're stronger, you're more clever, you might think, you've learned a lot about the world, and you've become more grown up. But the process is only just beginning. You have a long way to go. What does it mean to be grown up? We don't like being told that we're acting like a baby or being a child. At your age, grow up. We don't like that. We want to think that we're mature, that we are grown up. Sometimes we're not, when we get in a tantrum, when we want our own way all the time, when we can't think of others. Well, what does it mean to be grown up? There's a question to stop and think about. It might be that you're able to put things off. You'll wait to get what you want. That's being grown up. It might be that you'll think more carefully and not just act immediately. That's being grown up. You might not fly into a temper. You might be able to just hold on to things and not cause destruction by what you say or do. You'll be more considerate and you'll be able to handle your emotions better. And that sense of being responsible, you'll not blame everybody else for not helping you. You'll say, well, it's my job. I need to do what I have to do. I need certain things. I will be grown up about this. It's a great thing, and it's really important in life to do what is grown up. However, we've got other things to think about. 5 years at high school. You'll be 6, maybe 5, maybe 4 years at high school. You'll certainly be most of the next 5 years. And that's a big change. You don't have a choice. You'll have to go. You may as well make the most of it. Most of you will be longing for it. You've missed school, you've missed your friends, and you've got lots to learn. So go on, get every opportunity and make the most of it. But what's it about? It's not just about putting in time. You want to get something out of it. Achievements, targets, goals. Begin with the end in mind is quite a good little phrase. So we've got a few thoughts to put down, maybe on paper, maybe some ideas just floating in your head, but this would be a good time to stop and think, what do you want out of 5 years in high school? Well, some of the answers that I've had over the years from primary sevens past, and they might not be your answers, but you may identify with these, you may have thought of them, and there'll be things that you want to add that are not here. But obviously, first amongst them, you might think, well, you want to pass exams. You need to prove you've learned something. There are tests, there are assessments, there are grades, and applying yourself to your schoolwork is a good way to find you enjoy school. If you get behind, if you can't be bothered, if you get distracted, well, you're not really going to enjoy things much. So doing your best doesn't mean you have to be clever or as clever as everybody else. You must want to do your best. Find out what is good for you. And you'll be good at some things that other people are not. Just always remember that you are individual and special, and you want to make the most of who you are and what gifts you've got. You'll make new friends, not just in primary school with the friends that you have now, but new friends from other primary schools and from maybe different year groups. And your high school friends will stay with you probably a lot longer than your primary school friends. That's just the way life is. You want to be ready for a new job, ready for is it a wage, be able to do something that proves in a place of work that you're worth something, that you can contribute, and that you're ready to learn, that you can turn up and be reliable, and that you're going to be somebody worth paying to have around. That's something you can learn at high school. And the new subject, some people have said the football team, some people, girls and boys, all things to look forward to. Morals and making decisions. Morals is about what's right and wrong. Remembering that there are some things that are really quite dangerous to get involved in, and you might think, oh, that's wrong. I'm not going to abuse my body by taking drugs or getting too much alcohol or being involved too much with the opposite sex in a way that's irresponsible. You have to look after yourself and decide what is right and what is wrong for you, and maybe learn from others. And lots of people who've made decisions in the past, some good, some bad. Making the right decisions for you and for others around you is part of what you learn as you grow up. That's maturity, and we've talked about that. Many people want to learn to drive and to get a license, to pass their car and pass the test and get a car. And being happy, taking life easy, somebody said. Well, enjoy your leisure time, your work time, your school time, your family time. And being happy is something you'll take with you into school if you can. It's not always easy, and there are many ups and downs for everybody in high school. So, well, you've got some ambitions then about what you might hope for in the next 5 years. The question then is, will it be straightforward? Well, some of it will happen automatically, as I've said, but some of it you have to focus on and make an effort and get the best out of it. Some people go through school and afterwards wish they'd done far more. They didn't get the best out of it. So what could make life difficult in achieving those goals? Have a wee think. You might want to write a list or just give some thought to what might get in the way, what might make it harder to achieve the things that you would hope to achieve in high school. Make a wee list. Think about it. Well, for lots of people, things happen they didn't expect. When I was 12, so just going into high school, my sister died. It blew the family apart emotionally. She was 19 and it was tragic. Everybody was terribly sad. It made life very difficult. I found it hard to concentrate, and people were supportive, but it didn't take away how sad and upset everybody was. That can be difficult. You don't know that. And it won't happen to many of you, but for some it will have happened, and for others it will happen. How you handle that is important. Take help, talk to people, get friends around you. Don't be afraid to show you're upset if you are upset. These things do happen, and lots of people can help you. We have illness sometimes. Things can go wrong, mental and physical. Sometimes the illnesses are made worse by the way we behave, the way we treat our bodies. But often it's no fault of our own, and we shouldn't punish ourselves or feel bad. We want to get better and do the best we can. And I know that school will be very supportive if you have issues of any sort. Talk to people, tell them what you're going through and how you feel. We've got family upset and breakdown. Yes, couples don't always stay together. Sometimes families break up. A father goes one way, a mother goes another. And there are arguments and upsets. It's part of life. And again, lots and lots of people going through school have these kinds of things to deal with. Don't feel you're the only one if it happens to you. And don't be afraid to talk and to share and to find support. So it can help you to be able to do that. It's one of the things that makes getting through school a little more difficult. Of course, if you miss classes, you're not going to learn very much. And some pupils tend to find every opportunity not to be in class. You're going to make life difficult for yourself if that's the case. So turning up on time, turning up with what you need, making sure you have appropriate equipment for the next day, that's all being responsible. Don't blame somebody else because you forgot your PE kit or some equipment you need. You've got to get yourself ready and in shape and take responsibility where you possibly can. There may be times when you can't do